Have you ever noticed how some people handle life's challenges so gracefully, while others seem to struggle with even small problems? Why is it that some people stay calm, self-aware and respected, while others snap or overreact at the slightest thing? The answer often comes down to emotional maturity versus immaturity. And today we're going to explore what that looks like so you can see where you stand. Welcome to Mind Matters Expert. Self-awareness is really at the heart of emotional maturity. Emotionally mature people know how they feel, and they understand why. They notice anger, sadness or joy, and they respond thoughtfully. Immature people, on the other hand, often ignore or suppress their feelings, letting them spill over in overreactions or blaming others. Here's a practical tip. Keep a daily reflection journal. Write down how you felt in certain situations and why. Over time, you'll notice patterns in your emotional responses. For example, a colleague criticizes your idea. A mature person might think, "I feel frustrated, but I can use this feedback to improve." An immature person might snap, sulk, or complain. Taking responsibility is another big sign of maturity. Mature individuals own their choices and mistakes. They don't deflect blame. Immature people often say, "It's not my fault," or make excuses instead of solving the problem. Try this. When something goes wrong, pause and ask yourself, what part of this is my responsibility? What can I do to fix it? In a team project, if an error happens, a mature person says, "I should have double-checked this. I'll fix it." An immature person says, "Someone else messed up, not me." Managing emotions is also key. Mature people feel emotions but don't let them control their actions. Immature people react impulsively, angry, defensive, or passive-aggressive. One trick you can use: pause before responding, take a deep breath and ask yourself, will this reaction help or hurt the situation? Then respond thoughtfully. Think about disagreements with friends. A mature person listens first and responds calmly. An immature person interrupts, yells, or withdraws entirely. Empathy, is a hallmark of maturity. Mature people can step into someone else's shoes. They validate feelings and respond with compassion. On the other hand, immature people often dismiss or ignore emotions. A simple way to practice this is to repeat back what someone says to show understanding. For example, "It sounds like you're frustrated because..." Imagine a colleague is stressed about a deadline. A mature response would be, "I understand this is stressful. How can I help?" An immature response might be, "You're overreacting. Just deal with it." Communication skills also reveal maturity. Mature people express themselves clearly, assertively, and respectfully. Immature people either avoid expressing themselves or lash out to get their way. Try using "I feel" statements instead of blaming. State your concern clearly and listen without interrupting. For example, "I feel overwhelmed when messages aren't answered. Can we set clearer expectations?" As opposed to, "You never respond. You don't care." Conflict is, inevitable, and how you handle it shows a lot about your emotional maturity. Mature people face conflicts calmly, focus on solutions, and are willing to compromise. Immature people avoid conflict, hold grudges, or escalate arguments unnecessarily. When problems arise, focus on solving the problem, not winning the argument. Ask yourself, what can we do to fix this? Patience and delayed gratification are also key signs of maturity. Mature people can delay immediate rewards for long-term benefits. On the other hand, immature people often seek instant gratification and avoid responsibility. Before acting, ask yourself, will this help me in the next month, year, or even 5 years? Choosing to save for a goal rather than spending impulsively, that really shows maturity. Mature individuals regularly reflect on their behavior, learn from mistakes, and focus on self-improvement. On the other hand, immature people resist feedback and honestly just repeat the same patterns without learning. So, set aside some weekly reflection time and ask yourself, what went well this week? What can I improve? Mature people bounce back from setbacks and see failures as opportunities to grow. Meanwhile, immature people often give up or blame circumstances. Say you failed an exam or missed a deadline. A mature response would be analysing the mistake and planning how to improve. An immature response, though, would be complaining, blaming, or simply avoiding responsibility. Mature people are comfortable with themselves and maintain clear boundaries. Immature people, though, rely too heavily on others for validation, or at times manipulate relationships to meet emotional needs. Here's a simple approach. Identify where you compromise your needs, set clear boundaries, and communicate them respectfully. Now, let me ask you, which of these traits do you already see in yourself? And, well, which areas could use improvement? Here's a challenge for you. Pick one area this week, maybe reflecting daily, expressing yourself clearly, or practicing empathy, and commit to it. Notice how it changes your mindset, your interactions, and even your relationships. Remember, emotional maturity isn't a destination. It's a journey, and every small step you take toward understanding yourself and others makes a huge difference. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who's on their growth journey, and subscribe to Mind Matters Expert. Because, honestly, the more emotionally aware we become, the better our lives, relationships, and growth.